Dark clouds gathered over the city that afternoon, but outside Mercy General Hospital, another kind of storm was already unfolding. A little girl, no older than 6, stood trembling on the wet asphalt, clutching the hem of her faded sky-blue dress. Tears carved lines down her dust-streaked cheeks. Her voice quivered as she tried to speak, her words drowned by the roar of passing cars and the cruel laughter of 3 men blocking the hospital gate. Her tiny hand pointed toward the glass doors, where her mother, pale, swaying and gasping for air, was being held back. The child's cry pierced the chaos. "They won't let my mommy in. If you still believe that kindness can change the world. If you believe good hearts rise even when darkness closes in, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Stories of Kindness, because what happened next will remind you that humanity is still worth believing in." Her name was Sophie Turner, a child too young to understand cruelty, yet old enough to feel fear. Her mother, Laura, had spent months working double shifts at a small diner, trying to pay for the medicine that kept her alive after a lung infection left her weak and short of breath. That morning, Laura collapsed at home. Sophie did what any terrified little girl would. She grabbed her mother's hand, ran into the street, and pleaded for help. But fate had cruel timing. The hospital's main doors were closed for renovation, and the only open gate was guarded by 3 contractors, hard-faced men with colder hearts. They blocked her path, sneering, telling her to wait until shift change. Sophie tugged on their sleeves, begging them to move, but they only laughed. One, tall, wearing a sleeveless gray hoodie with a cigarette hanging from his lips, shooed her away like a fly. Another leaned against the wall, recording the scene on his phone as if her pain were a form of entertainment. The third, heavier, dressed in red flannel, muttered that people like her can wait their turn. All the while, Laura's breathing grew worse. Her knees gave out once, twice, until she collapsed against the glass doors, pressing a trembling hand to her chest. Sophie screamed for help, but the few bystanders nearby pretended not to see. Then came the sound that changed everything. A deep rolling thunder that wasn't from the sky, but from the road. The unmistakable roar of motorcycles. 5 bikes slowed to a stop just outside the hospital. The engines idled, then fell silent, leaving behind the ticking of hot metal and the echo of boots striking pavement. At the head of the group stood a man built from iron and years, Ryder Callan, late 40s, weathered by time and road. His beard was streaked with gray, his arms inked with stories of battles and brotherhood. The black leather vest on his back bore 2 patches, Hell's Angels and RL Shells. His eyes, cold, sharp, and heavy with experience, took in everything. The crying girl, the men at the gate, the woman collapsing by the glass. No one moved. Sophie stepped forward, wiping her tears. Her voice shook as she said, "Please, they won't let my mommy in." Ryder crouched down, his leather creaking as he met her gaze through mirrored sunglasses. Her reflection trembled in the glass of his lenses. Then he stood, slowly, and something in his expression shifted. Without a word, he handed his gloves to one of his brothers and started walking toward the gate. The rest followed, spreading out like a storm front. The 3 thugs froze. Their laughter died mid-breath. Ryder's boots hit the ground in steady, deliberate rhythm until he stood face to face with them. "Move," he said quietly, his voice low and gravel rough. "Now." The man in the hoodie started to speak, but one look from Ryder silenced him. Behind the biker, his crew stood like stone. A bald mountain of a man named Mace rested one hand on a bike handle, every muscle tensed. Another, younger with long brown hair, folded his arms and waited. Calm, but ready. It didn't take long. The men stepped aside, mumbling excuses and avoiding eye contact. Ryder nodded once toward Laura, who was still slumped by the door, and gently lifted her arm over his shoulder. "She's going in," he said. Automatic doors opened without a sound. Inside, nurses rushed forward with a stretcher, doctors shouted orders, and Sophie ran beside her mother, holding her hand until she disappeared behind the ER curtains. Outside, the bikers stood silent, guarding the entrance like sentinels beneath the gray afternoon sky. When Ryder finally walked back out, Sophie ran to him and threw her arms around his waist. She was crying again, but this time from relief. "Thank you," she whispered. He smiled faintly, brushed a tear from her cheek, and said, "You're braver than most men I've met." He didn't stay long, just long enough to make sure Laura was safe. Before leaving, he pressed a folded $20 bill into Sophie's small hand. Scrawled across it in pen were 3 simple words: "For Mom's medicine." As the engines roared to life again, the hospital staff stood at the windows, watching in silence. No one would forget that moment, not because of the leather jackets or the thundering motorcycles, but because they had witnessed something rare. In a world quick to look away, 5 strangers stopped. And in stopping, they changed a life. Later that evening, when Laura woke in her hospital bed, Sophie sat beside her, clutching the note like a piece of treasure. "Who helped us?" Laura asked softly. Sophie smiled through her tears and said, "Angels, Mommy. Hell's angels." If this story moved your heart, if you believe kindness can come from the most unexpected places, please like, share, and subscribe to Stories of Kindness, where real stories of compassion remind us what humanity still means. Before we end, tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you were there that day? Because sometimes, one act of courage is all it takes to change someone's forever.